on some different scams and stuff on the table right over here to my left. That's military left, right? Yeah.
We like to go out to senior groups, wherever we can find them, neighborhood watches, church groups, and do presentations and educate them. Because once they get scammed, it's really hard to get a recovery, unless it's a local business. That's where we do most of our recovery business, is from local businesses, because they're there and we can get them. But once you get scammed on the phone, it's gone. It's history, and it's a shame. We were doing the presentation a couple weeks ago, and we got halfway through it, and a little guy raised his hand. He said, "I wish I had talked to you guys last week."
But it was too late.
And you know, most of them are scammed out of $200, $300, $400, and maybe to some of us it doesn't sound like much, but it's most of their Social Security, and we take it real seriously, and we do get a lot of recoveries, because they just don't want to mess with us.
Well, with the
They don't.
Attorney General for the state of Florida backing us, it does give us a little bit of clout to a point, okay? Now, we're not officers of the law. Anytime we run across something that turns into a criminal act, we turn it over to the Sheriff's Department and let them take it from there, okay? But still, no business at least, wants to know that the Attorney General is in fact investigating them, right? So if there's a problem, they're going to try to take care of it. So we can do a lot of good. But, and, you know, a lot of the small things like Barry said, but we also have had some come in here over $100,000 where people have been scammed out of it.
More than you might think. More than you might think. But, yeah, we this fellow that we took to court the other day, he actually hung up on us back in the beginning, and until he found out that we were a little bit more to deal with than he thought, and he settled on Friday in court, and we got back $400 for that lady, which was a lot of money. You know?
But when we got down to the courthouse, he realized that he knew somebody, the lady was going to be doing the mediating.
Yeah, that was
And she
unfortunate.
spoke to him and stuff, and the judge says, well, it's up to the guy that we were after, whether they can go in there with a mediation or not.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were there with
They
our shirts and stuff.
They weren't going to allow us. They were going to allow us into the mediation. I thought, oh boy, this is going to be really good. But the mediator come in and she looked at me and she said, "Oh, I know you." I said, "Yeah, I know you too." But then the judge turned around and she asked the defendant if he wanted us in the mediation. Well, needless to say, that was a big no. But we still won. So we were happy with that. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to share with us that's happened to them or yeah?
Just one part on your conversation. You say y'all try to keep everything confidential. Well, when good news happens, that would be a time to share. By that, the rest of us would know these services are available.
That's true, but there's times people would not come to us if they knew that their name was going to get out. Now, so we have to leave it up to them. Now, if they don't have a problem with that, we're ready to brag like some roosters, you know. You bet you, if we can.
I'm just saying, good news is everything is made up of bad news this day and time.
You're right.
If y'all was to tell us we finally put enough pressure on a car dealer in our area, and not give the names of the
We did.
injured people,
We did.
the rest of us wouldn't be buying cars from that dealer, so to speak.
That's true, but we're not allowed to talk about the people that we defend or go after. We're just, by law, we're not allowed to.
But we do disseminate the information without names. For example, you'll see on the table over there a lot of examples of scams that are going on. The IRS scam, where somebody calls you and tells you that there's going to be a warrant issued because you owe so-and-so to the IRS. Now, that scam has been going on, and it happens usually every first part of the year when everybody's doing their taxes. And right now, it's pushing. IRS will never contact you and tell you that they're going to arrest you. They'll just arrest you. So you know that's a scam right from the beginning.
Scam call.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, don't think we don't get them.
But anyway, on the table back there, there are a lot of examples of different scams going on. That's just one of them.
This gentleman just gave me this urgent notice. This is a perfect example of, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And believe me, it is. It's going to be a rare occasion when someone's going to call you on the phone and say, you just won some money. You're going to have to pay some money. And that makes it, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Believe me,
It's all out of Nigeria, man.
we get, believe it or not, we get, just in the United States, some 30,000 calls a day from Jamaica alone.
Wow.
And that's not counting Nigeria. Nigeria is thousands. And they are smart. They're real smart. I mean, they have nothing to do but think of better ways that they can get your money. And we're here to help as many people as we can not be victims of those people.
And that's the thing, to try to get the information out there to start with before it happens, as much of it as we can. Now, I'm not real familiar with the Tea Party, the total organization. I've been to one of you, this is my second meeting I've come to you guys, but that's what really got me interested. And what I've seen on TV in the past few years and stuff, which in the last year I haven't had a TV, I don't want to watch it, But, and everything I've seen on the news and stuff, I like. Of course, I usually listen to Fox. So, but anyway, I mean, that's just the truth. But here, you guys to me are kind of an organization that's trying to get the information out on the different candidates and stuff like that, okay? That's what I was impressed with. And we're the same way. We need to get the information out there, and we'll take any help we can get to get it out there and to try to help people.
One of the big ones going on right now is if anybody asks you to pay them with a green card or a green dot card or any of those cards that you can buy from like Walmart, Dixie, or any place, and once you give that number, you don't have to give them the card, just the number off the card. Within seconds, they can take the money out, and it's usually in Puerto Rico or some other place where we can't get to. So once you have paid somebody with a green card or any of the other money cards, it's gone. Those kind of people, the only way we can help them is tell them, don't. Do never pay that way to anybody unless it's something you have physically ordered and are willing to pay for, and you already have the merchandise.
It doesn't have to be illegal.
How they
No.
can do it, my son was in Afghanistan, he's a Marine, and we get these statements from the Navy Federal. They were all drawn, one was at $3,000, the other was like $1,800. And from Philippines, how they get information to my son who is Marine.
Yeah.
How they get these Social Security, how they get, I mean, he just served in Hawaii, from Hawaii twice in Afghanistan, and the second term was 2 times, almost $5,000.
That's identity theft.
Yeah,
That's identity
that's a
theft.
whole
How
other
they do
thing
that?
What he's asking, how did they get that information?
How they get to it?
Oh,
I mean,
You
it's a
can
Navy
take
Federal.
and throw something away in the garbage can.
thinking
That's an old bill for something, and it might have your credit card number on it.
Yeah, you use your credit card in the farm.
But that's what they do.
Oh, yeah, that's a no-no.
But-
Definitely.
But the best thing, that's identity theft, that's a whole other subject that we'd like to talk about. But basically, when you go out, don't carry any more information with you than you absolutely need to. If you don't need your social security card, leave it home. Black out everything but the last four numbers. I personally don't like to give my social security number to a doctor because I don't know where that's going. I don't, I'll give it to him, but I'll change one of the numbers.
But you know what, in the same breath, any veteran knows this. Everybody in the world knows our social security number. You get it, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
If you're a veteran, if you've been in the military, like your son,
Yeah.
Your dog tag.
it's on our dog tag, yeah. So I mean, it's not something we can hide from. But other people who's not been in the military, that's a different story too.
Sir, go ahead.
How do you expect a doctor to access Medicare if you don't give him your social security number?
Well, all the times that I've given our doctors my social security number, I have got yet to have the nurse or the receptionist call me and say, you gave us your social security number and it was wrong. Never. So, the answer to that question is, obviously, they used the other information that they had and didn't need it. I'm sure some of them will need it. And if they do, they can call you up and say, hey, you made a mistake on your social security number. But it's just a way of protecting yourself. You have to, you don't know where that thing is going.
Tell them about blocking your phone before I forget it. I'm just wondering about how you can block your phone.
Oh, yeah, is everybody here on the do not call list?
Do
Everybody,
you have to renew that every year or
yes, you
something?
do.
Yeah, say, I have it
Yes,
every
you
year.
do.
But
I don't think it's every year, I think it's every 3 years. But, yeah, I mean, that's the first step. If you don't want all these phone calls, get yourself on the do not call list. And if you don't know how to do that, you can call our office number and we'll be glad to walk you through it.
It's a
but-
donotcall.gov.
I'm sorry?
The website is donotcall.gov.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to do. But you do have to remember to do it. I think every 2 years or 3 years, I'm not quite sure. But you have to renew it.
And it has to be made from the phone that you're trying to
Block.
deduct. So if you have a couple of phones, you're gonna have to do it a couple of times.
And I think an important thing to remember is that when people do call you, minimize that conversation. Because if they can keep you on the phone for, I think it's like 30 seconds, I don't care what you didn't tell them or did tell them, your name is worth something to them, they sell it. And somebody else is gonna call you. Don't talk to them, don't stay on the phone with them, hang up.
Now, what he's talking about is a phone call that you didn't initiate and/or a phone call that came in wanting something.
Right.
Not just your normal phone calls.
I had it last night, it's Sunday, called on the phone, telling me something by a house I have in South Florida, and they asked me if I have to give them my 4 last number of my social security. I said, why do you need my 4 numbers? To know that you are the right person. I said, you know what? I hang up. It's Sunday.
That's the first thing you do is hang up.
It's Sunday, so that was it.
This lady back here has a question?
What happens if they call and the answering machine picks up? That's more than 30 seconds.
Did you hear?
What's that?
If they call and the answer machine picks up, and then they go ahead and do their spiel, they can do that more than 30 seconds.
They're gonna get.
Yeah, if you get to that phone, hang them up.
Well, also you can set your phone, or most phones, you can set it to how long you want the, if somebody leaves you a message. And 30 seconds, when you think about it's a long time,
Yeah,
if
it's quite a
somebody
long
just
time.
gonna leave their name and phone number, which that's all they should be leaving, basically, 30 seconds is a pretty long time. You can shorten that though.
Yeah, they don't want you to talk. They want to give you a speech. And just don't listen to it. It's not going to do you any good. Hang up. Does anybody else have any questions? Stan?
I've been in and out, but you mentioned earlier that you would
looking for volunteers.
Oh, absolutely.
What does a volunteer do?
Well, we do have office spaces open right now. We just increased our office hours to include 3 days a week instead of 2. And we've had to shorten our hours down to, we had 2 shifts before. We were doing 10 to 1 and then 1 to 4, I believe. And we've had to shorten that up some because we just don't have the staff. And to work in the office, you do have to pass a background check, which I believe most people can do. But if it's not to include access to the office and a computer, then you're basically our eyes and ears. When you hear something or see something, you call us and let us know what you got. And but it's kind of interesting. I think working in the office, we're right in the middle of the crimes unit, and we see things going on, and it's kind of invigorating. We know by the number of parking places what's going on that day. If there's no parking places, something happened that night. It's kind of neat. But we have everybody there, everybody in the offices. They're all real nice people. Just that everybody is just so busy. You know, you feel kind of when you go into something like Lieutenant Lyle is the one I deal with all the time, and I don't care how busy he is. You know, his door's always open, and it's always come on in. You know, I'm not disturbing you. I'm like, no, come on in. And that's kind of the way it is over here. We also have another unit within our office. It's a unit of Attorney General people, and they handle basically the same things that we do, but on the crime side. So we work. It's 3 ladies in there, and we work pretty closely with them. And you know, if they get something that they'll hand over to us, or we have something that turns into a crime, and we'll hand it over to them. So that's basically how it works. But the job of volunteers could be interviewing people. It could be doing research work. We don't investigate, we research. I don't know why that is. But now, somebody left a case on our desk just the other day. And sometimes we'll pick up something and say, what is this? And we have to be careful because we don't handle active crime cases. But with the paperwork in the office being shuffled around every once in a while, and that one the other day, it just ended up on our desk. So the first thing that we usually do is go find out what it is and who it belongs to. But in this case, my wife had nothing to do that day, so she went on Google and she almost solved the case in 10 minutes. I thought it was pretty neat, but when we talk to the detectives, we say, excuse me, this is yours. But yeah, sometimes they're just too busy. They just miss simple things. And that's what happened in this case. You know, they did a lot of investigating, but they missed Google. I called the lady who was missing. I talked to her on the phone. She's still almost in the same place she was last month. It's you know, say, well, how did that happen? Well, it does. It happens all the time because they're so busy. They're shuffling cases around. Every detective is handling probably 10 cases, and it's really easy to miss something. And so thankfully, you know, we're there not to pick up what they forgot, but we're there to help them, and they're there to help us. So
Really, what we're looking for in a volunteer to start with is 4 hours a week, you know? I mean, it's not like we're asking you to come in 2 or 3 days at a time. Can if you want to. We'd be glad to have you. But 4 hours a week, and if you could spare 4 hours a week to come in and help work with us, help us in many different ways that he's talked about, even if it's going out like doing just what we're doing here tonight, you know?
Most people that come into the office kind of, after a couple months, find their own niche that they enjoy doing. Whether it's research or interviewing people or doing what we're doing. They kind of hang out for a while and just find out what's going on, and then they just find what they enjoy doing. It's fun, you know, we kind of enjoy it, especially when we get somebody.
I'm finished.
Bill, you all done?
Yep.
Any other questions?
These poor
or-
people wanna go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope I didn't talk too much. I'm usually in a hurry to get out of this, especially when I'm talking to a microphone.
How's about the complaints? How you guys take care of the complaints?
That's a real good question.
Okay,
We completely
I got a complaint.
glossed over that.
Okay. I own a garage down in East Palatka, right there in the foreign car repair 11 bays. And we got next door, it's a guy does the body work.
Right.
It's a the Bob's wrecking company, whatever. And I own a piece of property between the property he's doing the job body work and it's an easement property. I pay taxes, I pay insurance on the property, but it's an easement. And I respect that. An easement should be in only to go in and out. Even me, I own the property, I cannot park the cars there
Okay.
because it's supposed to go in and out.
Okay. Before we get too involved in your case, I mean, a couple things have to happen for us to deal with the case.
Yeah.
We have to have a written signed complaint from the complainant. And at that time, we can contact the other party. But before we have, and until we have a signed complaint, we're completely out of it. We can't do anything. But if you have a complaint, we'd be more than happy to have you come on over to the sheriff's office.
I will make the complaint, written complaint on it. And bring it down because I even talked to the owner of the property, because this guy rents it. And he called me F names and things about, and I said, I just want to clean the easement there because, you know, what you're doing there, fixing cars, repairing automobile repairs in my property, which my garage is all repair and his garage is a body shop. And I said, you're doing the work, spilling oil in my place. In my place, you can look, the Stanley knows, the gentleman knows, he knows, it's clean as could be. And then when it rains, all this oil comes in my property. And I got a 11 bays, like 300 feet frontage of this, 17.
If we can get you to come on over to the sheriff's department and sit down with us so we can, you know, really pick it apart and get to who did what, we might be able to help you.
I want the code enforcement over here. And they said to me, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I talked to the owner of the property, he told the guy who does work there, he doesn't care. They go to court, I don't want to go to court.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anymore what to do, but to fight with the guy, I don't want to fight because I've been in this country 46 years. I never fought with nobody. And I mind my own business, I work, I own the property, and I think he has to follow the rights of the easement property. And he's got the rights to go in and out, even it's my property there. And I pay taxes, insurance. And he will not do this, doing it for about 3 years now.
Okay, again, if we can get you,
Told you.
if we can get you to come on over to the office,
Beating a dead horse now.
we'd be glad, you know, of course, we don't have the time to do it, you know, now, but we'll sit down with you and go over what you have and pick it apart, and then we'll be able to tell you, you know, more closely what we can do for you.
I will do that.
I think somebody else back there had a question a little bit ago.
I've got one. How old do you have to be considered a
Senior.
citizen?
101?
I don't,
Your minimum.
I don't remember us turning anybody away.
Yeah.
So the answer to that is I don't care.
And, no, and that's not a problem, but what, because in the past, we've actually worked with quite a bit younger people than ourselves, but here's a big thing, if we're not able to help you,
We know somebody who can.
we have got a list and list of different organizations and other people that might be able to, which we've been able to turn them over several times to other people and get help. Okay, so if we can't help you ourselves, we can definitely put you in touch with somebody.
The only,
They
So
can.
it's just not a senior citizen.
Well, it is, it's supposed to be, but they didn't say, they
we,
never said.
we are geared, I mean, that's what Seniors versus Crime was set up for back in 1989. The Attorney General back then recognized that a lot of seniors were being scammed, and which is true today. A lot of the older seniors just don't have the ability to help themselves, and that's what we're there for. We'll go in there and we'll find out what's wrong. We'll go through their paperwork. We'll do whatever we need to do to get to the bottom, because a lot of times they can't even explain, well, what really happened. They're not sure, they don't know, but we'll find out. And we'll, if we can't help them, like Gary said, we know somebody who will.
And I don't think we've ever been constrained on ages. We've even
No,
had some,
I don't ever remember turning anybody away because you're too young. Because they might have a problem I want to hear about. Anyhow, you know, that will help a senior. So yeah, we'll take anybody's problem. Plumbing, real estate, we don't care.
Yeah.
So,
Of course, you know, as we've discussed in the past, the American Legion, we go out and we speak to a lot of older veterans and help them out. You mentioned this form that had to be signed. Is that something that a volunteer can take with them, and when they find out some information, go ahead and fill it out and have the victim sign it? Is that sufficient, or do they need to actually physically come in? Because some of these
no, we can go to them. We have forms. We can, I say, we do. The rules are that we're not supposed to go to somebody's house. But I'll make exceptions to that, depending on what their mobility is.
some of the people.
But we will go to their house.
And like, or if somebody from the American Legion goes out, yes, you can take one of our forms and have it signed, the complaint signed.
Sure.
Not a problem at all.
Sure.
Because we'll even take them through the mail to get things started and get it going if that's what we need to do, if we have to.
And these, the American Legion right now is assisting us on a case that we've been working on for a long time. And we just may get to the bottom of it with the American Legion's help. And if they're able to do something on that, that involves a veteran, and we're going to really be happy. Yes, Dan?
Has this veteran signed the form yet?
The one that we're dealing with?
Yes.
Oh yeah. This is a complaint from probably the beginning of last year. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, Chuck.
we can get a copy of a couple of these forms, or are they on the internet, we could copy them?
But those signatures have to be notarized too, though, wouldn't they?
No.
If they're an illegal thing, no?
No.
It's a legal thing put down by the Attorney General to the point that before we can actually take action, or open a case, we're supposed to get a signed complaint. Now, it can be even from the, you know, a lot of times the very elderly, it may be their son or their daughter that's wanting to get things going. In that case, they can sign the complaint and we get moving on it.
Yeah, as long as we have a complaint from, from a live party, we can act on it. Yeah, Chuck?
What I was gonna talk about, Barry, thank you, sir, is that the case that you're working on with us, we've contacted Tallahassee, the lady's working on it. We have, senators poll and so on and so forth with this young lady up in Tallahassee, so something's gonna break loose here pretty quick. I just want you to know that in our process of trying to help the veterans in the community and the community,
Everything takes
kind
forever.
of in the same thing that you do and helping people, we've had to reach out. So we know different things than you guys know, and you know different things, and that's why it's such a good blend with the American Legion.
Yeah,
Thank you.
our relationship is gonna be a great one, and I really appreciate you guys. Thanks.
As most of you know, I'm an open book. It's not just seniors that get scammed. When you were talking about the website and internet thing, yeah, I've gotten people who have called the house, and they're from India, and I'm sitting here working on something else, not even thinking about scam. They're like, do you know, is your computer slow, or we're calling from MS-DOS, blah, 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 and I'm sitting here thinking about it. I never even thought about a scam. Because I'm the type of guy that probably would get scammed, because I actually believe people up to a certain point. So thank you for bringing that out. It's not just seniors. So I have actually gotten to the point where they become a nuisance. And I tell them, listen, you guys, you got to take me off the list. If I need some service, I'll call MS-DOS, I'll call this person, I'll call that person. The interesting thing about it is they know everything about your computer before you can go on it. And that's the scary part.
Then you wonder why they know all that?
Yeah, because they called before and got the information. Yeah, and you stayed on the phone for 30 seconds. Yeah, exactly. In closing, the only thing I had wanted to mention, Alice reminded me, and I did mention earlier, but we do need a volunteer committee to be put together for the next election, which would come up in April. Otherwise, thank you all so much. Please drive home safely, and if you're going to the meeting up the street about the Rodman Dam, I hope you raise a lot of HE double hockey sticks. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, brother.